I have less than 5,000 followers on social media and I've never gone viral. Yet, I've been able to grow my photography business from zero to multiple six figures. How did I do it? I'll be sharing my multi-layered marketing strategy in this video. Let's get into it. Waiting for people to find you is not a strategy at all. I believe that in order to grow a successful photography business, especially in this climate where there's so many other competitors, so many other hobbyists, then you actually have to have marketing strategies that make sense, marketing strategies that sort of complement each other. Some are like, warming up your cold audience. Some are like, giving your warm audience a reason to book immediately. And then you have the middle funnel where you're like, working on people who are still on the fence or still having, different reasons or the other for why they haven't booked yet. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing the 7 ways I get fully booked as a boudoir photographer here in London. So I'm going to start off with the platform that we all, have a love-hate relationship with. And that's Instagram and Facebook. So yes, posting organically is good, but you have to bear in mind that with algorithm changes and suppressions, that would not get you fully booked. That may not actually help you reach your ideal client. And so yes, of course, I do post organically because in a way it's almost like social approval, social validation. When someone's looking for a photographer, even if they find your website, they usually go on your Instagram to check you out to see what's going on there. And so I still update those pages consistently every other day, at the very least 3 times a week. And that way it sort of shows people my work. In the last couple of weeks, I've been posting more of myself to show my personality, to show behind the scenes of working with me. So yes, I definitely get clients from Instagram as well as Facebook. But now the real generator from, people who actually book me on these platforms is by running paid ads. So I run paid ads by creating a campaign. Currently, I have a campaign running 40 over 40, which is me wanting to celebrate women who are in their 40s and above to come and do a boudoir session with me. And so with the way Facebook and Instagram is, these are not people who are actively already looking to, book a photo shoot. They're not like going online to search. They're usually just, doing their doom scrolling and then your ad appears. So in a way, you want something that gives them that incentive, something that sort of like maybe hits their pain point, so they can actually consider you to book with you. And so, for example, with this 40 over 40, women who are in their 40s, I'm sort of like calling out to them and trying to make it resonate with them that they're in the time of their life where, they are busy with daily activities, mommy duties, and the rest of it. And they can take out this time to like, treat themselves, do something for themselves, celebrate themselves and their journey. And so these sort of ads tend to work. Not only this, by the way, this is just an example I'm giving, but what I'm trying to say is you can't just depend on organic reach anymore, unless, I don't know, maybe you have 1 million followers and your reach is still good. But for most of us, especially in the boudoir genre where our posts tends to be suppressed a lot, then you definitely want to be able to invest in paid ads so you can target the exact, people you would like your work to reach. And that way you're consistently being seen by your prospective clients. Another marketing platform I use is Google. And so I would keep saying this to the end of time that as a photographer, you need to create a website that is SEO optimized as well. You have all your metadata, you have your meta titles, meta descriptions. On your images, you have the image titles as well as the alt titles, because all of that factors into how these search engines crawl your site and how it helps to rank your site. And so I know blogging has sort of dwindled with the dawn of social media and instant gratification and like the 3 second brain span or memory span or attention span is what they call it, isn't it? Yeah. But as a working photographer, you still need to have a website. Make sure you're blogging. if you think about what do people actually search when they're looking for your service, right? Go on Google, try and type and see. You usually have those questions where there's a list of questions of what people ask about your photography. Try and make blog posts on those and post that up and give answers. Don't just litter the post with photos. You actually want to write, I would say 500 to 800 words, something that can really crawl, and something that Google can crawl and sort of rank your site. And so when people search or when people ask similar questions, your website actually comes up. So definitely you want to make sure the SEO on your website is optimized for like your genre, as well as blogging to like make sure your website keep getting hits when people are looking for your service. So apart from doing this organically for Google, you can also run paid Google ads. I used to do this in the past, but for me, in the last 2 years, I haven't really done it because I just found out that it wasn't quite working for me. I wasn't getting the leads I wanted out of it. And so I've put my budget spend for my marketing into other platforms, such as, Facebook, Instagram ads, which I talked about, as well as in person, which I'll be talking about next. And so the third marketing platform I use is doing in-person events. I already hinted at that previously. So I do trade shows. So depending on, what sort of photography you're focusing on, you can go to shows like the baby show here in London if you're a maternity photographer or you're a newborn photographer. There's a national wedding show if you're a wedding photographer. There are different sort of events, even like, business events or other sort of like business trade shows if you do branding, for example, if you do events. So I'm starting to want to work with people in the wellness space as well, because that really ties in and resonates a lot with the boudoir work I do. So a couple of months ago, I went to the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, where I could meet, other businesses who are in the wellness and retreat spaces. And as a boudoir photographer as well, because I mainly focus on women. And so I try to go to in-person events where I know lots of women are. So for example, I would go to the National Wedding Show. I'm planning to go to like the baby show and things like that, so that way you're also meeting people in person. People are not just, because although you post a lot on social media, it's in a way it's still a mystery of who you are, especially for me in a boudoir, right? People are actually being in a vulnerable space. People are having to let their guards down. People are really putting themselves outside of their comfort zone to do this style of photography. And so I found that over the years, women who have met me at the show, they tend to book. They tend to say, oh, speaking to you made me feel more comfortable. I've had people book on the spot after talking to me, which was always pleasant. And I've had people call me like a day later and booking. And so I've just found that although it's a big investment, and I've done multiple trade shows over the years trying to see which one works for me. I've done some in Essex, in different parts around London. I've gone to High Wycombe to do one, and I've just learned which of them works for me and my business, which one I want to invest in. And yeah, I invest in those. So if you're not doing in-person stuff, I definitely advise you start doing that, especially if you're doing things like even brand photography. You want to meet businesses in person. You want to meet the decision makers, right? They get a feel of your vibe, your energy, your, having a rapport. And that way, they would likely remember you when they're ready to do a photo shoot than just then going on the internet to start searching for other random photographers. The next platform I use for my marketing is TikTok. So now on TikTok, I also have a love-hate relationship with that platform, just because my style of photography, they tend to like, limit my reach a lot. They tend to flag my stuff a lot in the past. Like just during the pandemic and just afterwards, I had started an account which grew to 20,000 plus followers. And one day they just kept giving me strikes. Really silly strikes. I was posting the style of content that other boudoir photographers were posting, even here in the UK and in America. But for some reason, they just kept striking me. And then I guess it got to the max of their strikes, and they eventually just deactivated my account. And so I started a new one. And this new one, I just haven't put a lot of love into it. I have to be honest. I just post here and there sporadically. I've not been posting a lot of my boudoir work. Instead, I've sort of made it into like a lifestyle thing, just so I avoid being flagged. And so I'll just post some days in my life, some of my thoughts. But currently, actually, I've gotten like re-energized to post on TikTok because I've had a few clients now who have said, "Oh, I found you on TikTok." And one particular person was like, "I've always wanted to do this, but I've been quite, a bit nervous and worried about doing it. But when I saw your TikTok video, you came across really friendly. And so I felt comfortable to reach out." And I was like, maybe I need to put a bit more of my personality out there. I'm actually a shy person. People hardly believe this when I say, just because of what I do, how I'm constantly posting. I'm having to push myself out of that comfort zone. But I also have to say, I grew up with a sort of, will I say, drama roots, in terms of like, I grew up in church choir, and then through that I acted. So I did drama, I danced, I used to perform. And so because I have that sort of theater drama sort of background, although I'm shy, when I come in front of the camera, I come alive. I love it. I love being in front of the camera. But I am shy in person. But anyway, putting myself out there, I'm realizing, oh, okay, people actually want to, which, a lot of people say these days, they want to be invested in who they're, buying from. Have they want to feel that alignment or feel that resonation, right? So anyway, so TikTok, definitely in the past as well, I used to run TikTok ads, and those TikTok ads did well. But like I said, just because that account was flagged, with this new account, because I had that love relationship, I was just not interested in investing my money into TikTok, into a platform that banned me. But is it something I'm open to? Yeah, maybe I'll approach it in the future again. But I'll have to see how I'll be able to promote my work on the platform, just because, yeah, it's crazy in like for boudoir. But definitely once I start create my elopement website and my micro weddings, I'll start to use it. And yeah, I think I'll revisit running ads. So definitely you want to be on TikTok also. So another marketing strategy I have to get fully booked as a boudoir photographer is getting referrals. And so I love this one. And this one, I always feel so honored whenever my past clients refer their friends, refer their in-laws. I've had people coming again and again. I've had people buy a session for their friend, like a gift. I've had past clients themselves return. So like last year, I had a past client who did two shoots last year. She did one in February, another one in like October. I had another client who came back last year as well. So I just have clients who come, and for me, it's so heartwarming because boudoir for a majority of people is something they do once and done, or once in a decade. Like I'll have someone who say, "Oh, I did this in my 30s, now I'm in my 40s or 50s, I want to do it again." So there's usually a long span of time before they do it again. But I've been blessed to have clients who have come quite frequently. And so that's another way I get booked for the year. So they're either in referring me to their friends or their families or their colleagues, or they're coming back again to do their own sessions. And so how I'm able to sort of, would I say, entice past clients to come back again? First of all, my experience for them the first time running was amazing. They really enjoyed it and they felt it was value for money. That's what you need to understand. If right now you don't have a good client process, I want you to sit and think, what can you embed in your client process to make it so seamless, to make it so joyful, to make it so comfortable and enriching and, seamless, that the client would leave thinking, "Oh, wow, that was expensive, but it was totally worth it. And when I want to do another photo shoot again, I'll go back to her." Because again, I'm on the high end pricing, right? And so this is not just people who are just waking up any day and just spending their money willy nilly, right? It's more of an informed purchase they're making, right? And so that's one of the first thing, because I've worked with some photographers, we, even though the pictures turned out nice, I didn't like the experience. So to be honest, I'm hesitant to go back to them. But if your picture turns out nice, so you've done the job, but then the experience they go through is also of good standard, is quality, it's, enriching, it leaves them with a pep in their step, which I've had a lot of people say. Like, I go home and people are like, oh, there's a pep in your step. Or people say, like, oh, they feel like they're glowing all day long, throughout the week, they're still rejuvenized by the experience. Then, of course, they want to come back. So that's one thing. But apart from that, my past clients, I then put them in a segment in my email platform. So that way I'm still in touch with them, right? And so when I have specials for past clients, or when I have events, I invite my past clients first. So that way they still feel nurtured, they still feel considered, they still feel seen. And so, yeah, that's some of the things I do that nurtures them and keeps me in their mind. So when they're ready to do another photo shoot, they come through my doors. Another thing I do is, in my boudoir studio, I have multiple add-on sets. So when they first come, they do the traditional setup I have, but I mean, people can add on those sets then as well. But as time has gone on throughout the years, and as I now have my own studio, I now have add-on sets. Like, I have a shower set, I have a bath set, I have a cinematic set, which is like using neon lights. I have a drape set where they can use fabric draped around themselves coming out from the ceiling. I have a bondage set, and I just make it known to them that even if there's something you have in mind, something you're envisioning that you haven't seen me create in my studio, I'm very happy to create it for you. I'm very happy to buy more accessories, props, and design something exclusively for you, because that's what being a creative artist is all about, right? That's what being, a creative photographer is. And so those clients who have always come back, it's always been really enjoyable for me as well, because I don't get to do just the normal boudoir stuff I would do. I then, do something different, or bringing in props. Like, a past client wanted like a witchy theme. She's in her 50s, late 50s, but she loves Harry Potter. And so she came with her cape, she came with her wand. So I brought in my props. I brought like a candle bra, I bought candles, I brought out my smoke machine, and she had a blast. So yeah, these are ways for you to keep people coming back and back, because every session they come back with you, you're enhancing it, and you don't just take them for granted as well, because they know you and you just relax. Like, even when I work with my family and my friends, I'm still as professional as any other person, because I want them to still enjoy that experience. I don't take them for granted. Oh, because they're my friend, I'll just be right. It's like, no, I'm gonna do it properly, because when they're ready for another photo shoot, they're gonna keep coming back to me. They're not gonna feel like I was taking the piece because I'm their friend. I didn't give them the experience I give to other people. I have a friend who did a session 2 or 3 years ago, and she's coming back in September. And yeah, so yeah, anyway, I hope I've sort of explained how that works. I also send one thing I want to mention, I also send a referral email once I've delivered their products and their images. And the referral email, basically, I give them like a commission base, almost like an affiliate, where I say, okay, if you refer a friend who is paying in full, and they pay my full session fee, you would also get either £100 credit, so you can purchase more photos from your gallery, or you get £100 cash. So that's a good incentive. So I send those emails to my clients. There's also like a referral card I used to send in the past. To be honest, I've been a bit lazy, because I didn't quite see, the difference in how it worked or not when I sent that card, because that was something I had to do with on Photoshop, personalize it for each person. I was just like, I can relax on that one now. But I'm actually considering bringing it back. But anyway, I used to do that referral card as well. So it's personalized to them. And when they send it to a friend, it has their picture on it, it has the offer. The friend also gets £100 off of their session fee. And that way, the friend wins, they win as well. And so, if you're wondering, how am I able to discount so much out of my pricing? Again, then you definitely want to check out my pricing video, where I break everything down and show you how to make sure your pricing is actually incorporating things that makes your business, able to give discounts when needed, but still give you a profit. And if you want to see my exact pricing menu I send out to my clients, then click the link in my description box for pricing for profit. I've listed everything there. Okay, let's move on. The next way I market my work is through my newsletter. So on my website, I have the subscription box where people can subscribe to receive emails from me. And so they put their name, they put their email, and basically I have what I call a drip, which is an email sequence. And I use Flowdesk. Again, the link down below for you to get sign up discount. So yeah, so anyway, once they subscribe to that newsletter, they automatically get put into a segment which I've already created on the back end of my platform, where they start to get emails from me. So there's a welcome email, there's a about me email, there's a client testimonial email, there's a product showing email, there's a what to expect email, there's more testimonials, there's how to prep your hair, how to prep your skin for a photo shoot, what you should expect from a photographer email. So they just keep getting this in a sequence of every week, and it's supposed to last for the whole year. So ideally, you want to have about 52 emails. So you're warming them up, which is where I talked about the middle funnel. So your newsletter is how, either people who are cold or slightly warm, they just found you, they're not ready to book yet. So instead of filling out your contact form, they just subscribe to your newsletter to see what you're about. So once they start getting that drip of emails, they start to get to know a bit more about you, and they will also receive the offers. So apart from that sequence, every month I now also do a monthly newsletter where I sort of share what has been going on in the studio throughout the month, and then I also tell them what offers or what sort of campaigns is currently running, to help them book a session. And so now I'm going to move over to the seventh way I'm able to market my business to get fully booked, and that's through AI. Now, I know everyone's talking about AI, and you definitely should be paying attention and seeing how you can, do things in your business to make sure AI is working for you. I know there's this fear of AI is going to take our, business, and I think it will take people's business away, people who do not evolve, people who do not enhance and upgrade their way of doing photographs, right? AI can now take beautiful pictures, well, not take, create beautiful pictures of people. So what else can you offer your clients? Anyway, that's another talk for another day. I actually had a video where I talked about AI and how you can AI proof your photography business. I'll leave a link above for it. Check that video out once you finish watching this one. But my way of marketing through AI is in a way through SEO. So again, we come back to this SEO thing and this website thing. So when you're blogging, you want to not just, write a spiel of stuff. You also want to make sure like your subheadings are asking questions, and then the text underneath is answering different questions that people will ask. So for example, let's say you're a maternity photographer and someone wants to, like a, pregnant woman wants to do a photo shoot. She may go on Google and search, how many weeks pregnant should I be when I book my photo shoot? And now even Google has its AI, it would come up. And that description and that information that comes up is literally from a website that AI engine is pulling out from. So yeah, so you want to make sure you have things on your website answering these queries your prospective clients are asking, so that when they ask those questions, your post is one of those that would come up as an answer, and the AI will give the link to learn more. So I say this and I know this because I've had a handful of clients now, not so many to be honest, but at least in these early stages, I'm already having a handful of clients say they found me through ChatGPT. And someone who booked me last year, she's also messaged me yesterday and saying she wants to book for next year, and we want to start discussing so she can start saving for her session. Anyway, she found me through ChatGPT. And yeah, and that's because I'm sure one of my blog posts or something from my website would have come up. I think she said she was searching for boudoir photographers or something. And again, because because I have, enough keywords and, SEO optimized pages on my website. Even when people search for boudoir photographers in different parts of the UK, I do tend to come up. And because again, I have lots of reviews on my Google business page, I tend to come up as well under the map. So if you think when you search for something, there's a map that comes out with businesses. If you're active on that Google business page and you have reviews, it comes up there. So I'll just add a little tip onto this video. Make sure you're getting every client to leave you a review. That's why I say you need to have your systems and processes in place. There are emails you send the client after they book leading up to the session. And then after the session, there are emails you also need to send. Let reviews be one of them. Whether you're using Google business reviews or whether you're using something like Trustpilot or whether maybe you want to use Facebook reviews, any platform you want to use, just make sure you get those reviews. And for me, apart from on those platforms, when there's time and I've had and I'm not tired. I get my clients to do a video review. So I used to use my phone. Grab a phone, do it on your phone, film it this way so you can create that review video and post on YouTube. And then you can still edit it in portrait mode so you can put it on social media as well. Currently, I now have a Osmo Pocket 3, which is what I'm filming on, which I use. I'll just be like, oh my goodness, we had such an amazing time. If you don't mind, would it be okay to do a review for me? Just a few questions. And they're like, yeah, sure, because they've had an amazing time, an amazing experience. They want to shout it and scream it to the world to come through as well. And so I just, put a chair in front of my backdrop, just hold my Osmo and just ask them a few questions. Make sure you do that as well. All of this accumulates because when people are trying to decide on who to book, they're not just focusing on, oh, you have pretty pictures. Yeah, pretty pictures may be fine, but what is it like actually working with you? Are you difficult? Do people enjoy your experience? Do people actually feel it's value for money, right? And so even though people can read text, we're quite cynical these days. We're quite, do we really believe that's what the clients say, even if it's on Google reviews? But when they see a video of women, several women from different backgrounds, different ages, different ethnicities, and yeah. Giving reviews, why would they not believe? Those are real people who you've worked with, who are talking about their experience with you, and they're happy to leave these reviews. Why would they not book? Why would they not be convinced you're the photographer for them? So anyway, that's just my spiel. I hope this video has really helped you to think more about, how you're marketing your business, how you're running your business, and how you can grow your business. So before I round up this video, I just want to say something, give you a caveat on what I've said. So I want to share one platform which I used to do in the past, but didn't work for my marketing, and I've decided not to do it again. And that is putting my business in magazines or newspapers. So I've gotten approached with some of these lifestyle magazines or country magazines. So they're like, oh, we have X amount of readers, blah blah blah. Pay for this page on our website. Sorry, not our website. Pay for this page on our magazine, and you'll reach your ideal client. So in the early days, I figured, what, I've never done this. I don't know if it will work for my business or not. Let me try. The page space I paid for wasn't like a full page or a spread. So it wasn't that expensive. So it was a good enough amount, like 200 and something or 300 and something for me to invest. And just because in business, you're trying, you're testing out, you're seeing what works for you, right? It may work for one person, but it may not work for you. It may work for you, may not work for someone else. So anyway, I tried, and I didn't get a single, I didn't even get a single inquiry. And I think I tried that even on a national newspaper, the Metro. If you're in London, Metro, that free newspaper we get all over London. They approached me, their marketing agency approached me to place an ad for Valentine's Day. I think this was 2 years ago. I did it again. I went for a little small space because I was like, let me just test and see. I'm not trying to blow my whole marketing budget. And I didn't get anything out of it. So I've just discarded the idea these days, to be honest. Although people still read, I don't think it's enough of my ideal clients to continuously be paying for those page spaces. Like, nah. So that's one marketing way to market your business I've done in the past and I won't be doing again. But who knows? It may work for you. If you feel like giving it a go, try it out. But don't blow your budget on it. Test it a bit and see what works. Finally, I would say another way I'm able to make money without doing extra work is by running particular sales to my past clients. Now, I hinted at referrals in the past, but why not make extra money from work you've already done, right? So, what I actually do is every springtime and during Black Friday, there's a particular past client sale I run. And so for spring, I call it my spring sale. And it's the idea that, during the springtime, we're decluttering, we're cleaning, we're doing all of this. So I use that sort of idea and sentiment. I'm trying to clear out my hard drive, because as photographers, I'm sure a lot of us have tons and tons of hard drives with images just sitting there. Images you probably know you would never return to, but for some reason we're just stuck to them. We don't want to let them go. We don't want to delete them. So I give my past clients the opportunity to purchase more images from their gallery, which they didn't in the past. And so I will send that spring sale to them. They can get their digital images for 50% off, or they can get like albums or wall arts for like maybe 20 to 30% off. Again, I have a good enough margin in my pricing to allow for this. And again, like I said, it's not like I'm doing the session all over again, so it's taking me time, it's taking me cost. It's literally just images sitting on my hard drive and I'm telling them, hey, your images are here, why not come purchase them? So that's a way to make extra money when things are tight. So I do this in the spring and then I do it during Black Friday as well. And yeah, every time I do this call out, I have one or two clients, take me up on my offer, and all of a sudden I'm getting hundreds of pounds, £600, £800, £1,000 into my bank account for work I've already done. So as you can see, I have a multi-layered approach to my marketing strategy. All of these platforms, although they're all different, in a lot of ways they work hand in hand. For example, someone who searches on Google and finds my website may then go to my Instagram to check out my page to see what's going on, to see if I'm legit, right? To see my behind the scenes before they then go and book me. So I advise you to actually open a page on all of these platforms. It doesn't mean you have to post on every one of them consistently, because to be honest, it's a lot of work, and it is if you want to run a successful business. However, at the very minimum, make sure you're updating these pages weekly so that when someone goes to your TikTok, it's not dead and crickets and they're wondering, oh, is this business no longer running? Are they out of business, right? But even if you're posting once or twice a week, at least you keep updating it. So when people bounce onto your platform on your page, they can see, oh, okay, she still posts every other week, so it's operating. Your website, try to update it every now and again. Your newsletter, try and send out emails and reach out to people. Anyway, I hope these 7 different ways I market my business has been eye-opening to you, has been insightful, and you've learned from it. If you enjoyed this video, then I know you will love this one where I share my pricing for profit strategy, so that way you can have a healthy budget for your marketing. Well, that's it for this video. Until next time, remember, you don't have to be a struggling artist. Bye.